air fillet. How may I help you?
Yeah, give me one sec. What comes with your air nugget meal?
Well, you get 5 air nuggets, or you can supersize it, and I'll float 10 air biscuits at you.
Huh, okay. Well, I guess I'll take the air biscuits then. Does this meal come with a drink?
Yeah, Coke Air Cola, Dr. Puff, Breeze, and Mountain Light.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a large Dr. Puff.
Okay, thanks. Pull ahead while you're listening to Our Different Take, episode 19.
Hello there, and welcome to Our Different Take. My name is Brian, proud father of 2 awesome boys, Star Wars collector, a Jedi podcaster. This is the way. And to my left is Scott. Oh, welcome, Scott.
Hey. Glad to be here again. Yeah, I don't know why you keep inviting me back here, but I'm happy to be here. And it's fun to be reading up on all of these new things, trying to, I guess some new things to try and some new things to learn about. So I'm interested in conspiracy theories, paranormal, spiritual, and most other things that people think are weird or boring. Those things interest me.
Yes. Well, you're under contract, so we have to keep you on. We have no choice.
If I break my contract, you got to buy me out with, was that 2 Big Macs? Isn't that the buyout clause?
2 Big Macs, and as you'll find later, probably a Diet Coke.
Yes. I can't wait to hear about the Diet Coke.
Yeah, that's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to take the air out of your lungs.
I see what you did there.
Well, we're down one person. As you notice, Matt is not here. He's off running errands for his wife tonight. Something like that. So we're going to miss him, but the show moves forward, and it's just me and Scott tonight. So we are going to be talking about the Breatharians. Pronounced that right, didn't I? The Breatharians.
Breatharian. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways. You'll forgive us, dear audience, if we screw this up on the pronunciation.
Sometimes we like to make up our own words.
Yeah, I like to do that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, which will probably happen here too. So, Breatharians. That's our subject for tonight's podcast. So we're going to go over some origins and history of the group. I don't know if you can classify these guys as a cult or not. Do you think?
You tell me what you saw on there. You know, what I saw was probably, you're just kind of looking at some of the notes you found. I think you saw something that I did not see. Nazi. Hey, we talked about the Nazis a while back. It's all coming full circle, isn't it?
Look, take notes.
So, yeah, you tell me what you saw on the Breatharians, because, there's a lot. Interestingly enough, when I was talking to people that I know about the podcast tonight, and I was telling them what the topic was, several people had heard of this topic, which I thought was interesting. It wasn't just 1 or 2. I think there was at least 3 people. There's like, oh yeah, I've read about that. And they started talking to me about what they heard. And I'm like, wow, okay. I didn't realize this was as mainstream as it is. So be interesting just to hear what you found on this tonight.
First glance, I was thinking, well, it's just some people that, are trying something new and might have to go with yoga-ish, something like that. But the more I took a deeper dive into it, there's definitely some cult-like parts to this Breatharianism. I made up a word.
Breatharianism, huh? Okay. It keeps on changing. It's getting longer and longer.
I warned everyone that's what's going to happen. So,
all right.
Well, let's get into it, and you'll kind of see where we'll go with it.
All right. What you got?
So, some of the origins and history. So, Breatharianism, okay, there's a Latin word for it called inedia, which means fasting. Basically, it's a claimed ability for a person to live without consuming food, and in some cases, no water, no food or water. The Breatharians claim that food and sometimes water is not necessary for survival, and that humans can be sustained solely by prana. And that's not the shrimp, but this is prana. Okay.
Okay.
It's the vital life force in Hinduism. It's called prana.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with prana. Prana is kind of a
Okay.
in the profession that I practice. Prana is it's kind of a well-known term. I'm not gonna say the profession that I practice, but it's yeah, prana is a thing.
Okay. Well, they say one of the main sources of prana is sunlight. So it's possible for a person to survive on sunlight alone and air, and that's where you get all your sustenance from. Not food nor water, just sunlight and air. Okay.
Sunlight and air. So like we're plants, but we don't even need to be watered.
Yeah, that's exactly, if you could wrap it up in one sentence, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay.
so there are several people that have documented through either on TV, documentaries, people trying to test this to see if it really is true. And we'll go through some of the more well-known cases because some of these have been documented pretty extensively, actually. But
Okay.
way back in the 1400s, 1493, there's this guy named Paracelsus, born in 1493, died in 1541. He described that he lived several years by taking only 1/2 scruple of solar quintessence.
So he didn't have a whole lot of scruples.
No, he did.
What the hell's a half scruple of solar quintessence? I mean, do we know what that is?
Well, obviously, it's enough to live on several years by 1/2 scruple.
I mean, it's maybe a scruple is really big, and so a half a scruple is still quite a bit.
Well, solar quintessence,
That sounds really big.
it sounds really big, so that could be huge, and a half scruple of that will last you for several years. Uh, write in if you know what that is, and we'll put you on the air. Okay.
Okay. So um, he survived on a half scruple of solar quintessence.
He did. He did. Uh, and in a book that was written about this guy, he had eyewitnessed certain sages fasting for 20 years without eating anything. 20 years. No, apparently they weren't eating scruples or anything. So
All right.
it was 20 years.
Somebody ate half the scruple.
It's true. There's a half left out there somewhere. Someone can be eating it.
Okay,
Anyway,
so do we have any actual documentation on this that
not this
or
dude.
was just that some dude in a book said that he had
Yes.
seen? Okay.
Yes.
So some guy in a book said it.
Yeah. So that's kind of the start of it
All
back
right.
in 1493 or through 1541. So then we move on to a Buddhist monk. Okay. His name is Bomb Jom. Okay. So far we got scruples and solar quintessence, and we're on to Bomb Jom, who lives in Nepal. Okay.
Okay, Nepal. Okay.
Now this guy here is a little bit different because he was on a show on the Discovery Channel. They were filming him. For 96 hours, they filmed him. He didn't move, he didn't eat, he didn't drink anything at all. He was kind of controversial, Bomb John was, because apparently he was pretty violent against anyone who tried to investigate him. So not many people actually investigated him. He was also accused of rape, kidnapping, physical violence. Bomb John is not a good guy to hang out with.
It didn't sound like it. So if you didn't believe that he actually did what he said he would do, he would rape you, kidnap you, or assault you.
Yes, he would.
doesn't sound like a nice monk.
No, he was not. Bomb Jom is not a good monk. But he did not eat or drink for 96 hours.
Okay, so this reminds me of, I'm going to show my age a little bit here, but do you remember, I think ABC had a show in the late 70s called That's Incredible. Do you remember
I
that?
loved that show. Seriously. I remember watching
Stevenson.
that.
Yeah. So I think NBC had one called Real People, and then the one on
That's
ABC
right.
was That's Incredible. So they would always have these kind of unique things that would happen on That's Incredible. These people that could do weird skits or had strange talents or whatever. And one of the things, I don't know, maybe you remember seeing this. They had these monks on there that could just through their own thoughts and meditations could control their own heartbeat.
Hmm.
Do you remember that one?
I don't.
So they took these monks and they put some heart rate monitors on them. And this one guy, and they squeezed him into this little cube. It was a very small cube. And so just getting him into the cube in and of itself was, everybody in the audience was like, wow, how'd you do that? But then throughout the show, they put him in at the beginning of the show and they kept the heart rate monitor on kind of like down at the bottom of the screen. And he got down to 4 beats a minute
Good grief.
in his heart. And so it kind of makes me wonder on like what Bomb Jom did here, if that's akin to what they did on that episode of That's Incredible, where if you can, through the right kind of meditation, control even your heart rate, which is supposedly, they teach you in medical school, that's an involuntary muscle, right? So we can't control our heart rate, but
Yeah.
this monk did. And again, maybe it was some trick or something, but it was not billed as a trick. And I don't know, because they had the heart rate monitor right on there. So if you can do that, then surely for 96 hours, you could probably also go without drinking or eating. I mean, eating, surely people do that all the time.
Right.
But even drinking, um, seemed like I saw something recently. It was a podcast with Joe Rogan and David Blaine, magician.
Blaine, yeah. Hmm.
Did you watch that or listen to that
No,
podcast? So
no.
David Blaine did a thing where he got frozen inside a block of ice, and he did all this research to find out, what are the limits of what the body can do. And he said, so before I got frozen in there, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to die, So he figured it all out, but he like couldn't. He couldn't get out of the block of ice to go use the bathroom or anything. So he basically went without eating or drinking, and I think it was 48 hours
Hmm.
stuck inside a block of ice. So he also went without sleeping for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can imagine if you can do stuff like that to your body, that I can believe Bomb Jom, and he didn't even he didn't even like threaten to rape me for saying this. I'm like, I believe Bomb
Not
Jom,
yet,
like
anyway.
for real, that he probably actually did go 96 hours without eating or drinking.
The best person probably to ask, I was doing some research, is Bomb Jom's mom or Bomb Jom's dad named Tom. Those are the two that we...
Bomb Jom Tom?
Bomb Jom Tom or Bomb Jom mom. Hey, that's what the internet said. We're just reporting.
If you live in Nepal and you know Bomb Jom Tom, write us.
That's right. Yeah, we haven't been listened to in Nepal yet, so we need listeners. Okay. All right. Next, let's move on from Bomb Jom. Tom. We've got Prahlad Jani, or Jani, Jani. Prahlad Jani. This guy, he quote unquote appeared to survive for 15 days without water or food while under complete observation at a hospital. So he was in a hospital doing this. So here's what some people say why they don't think this is true, is the hospital was a privately owned hospital. It wasn't public where everyone can go in and out. And there's been no official documentation that has ever been released. The study concluded that he was able to go without food and water, and there was also no records of him dropping any bombs.
Mm-hmm.
So no urine, no stools, nothing.
Were there chairs?
That's a whole other type of podcast there.
Oh man, because I can't even think.
He
Staying in a
passed-
hospital that didn't have any stools, but maybe past chairs. I don't know.
He could have passed some chairs on the way to.
So it said he didn't pass urine, so maybe it's just saying that he didn't walk past any urine.
Oh, that could be the case, because normally there's like buckets of urine in the hallways of hospitals as you're walking around, right?
Yeah, that's usually what you find as you're going down the hospital aisles is bucket of urine, and he didn't pass any of them
No, he didn't pass any of them.
or stools.
But if you're not eating or drinking, it would make sense that you're not going to have to, use the bathroom at all, because there's nothing going in. How's anything coming out?
I would agree to that. You would think though that, and this is what I don't understand about this, just breathing, you respirate water out of your body, right? Isn't that what they're telling us about COVID, right? We can't be around other people and breathe on them because
Oh, that's
the
true.
little viruses attach to the water droplets and go out
Right.
and find somebody else and stick to them and go in them. And okay, so
Yeah.
just through respirating, you're going to make water leave your body. How are you going to get it back in, what you respirate out? Even if you don't pee, how are you going to get that water back? Or the sweat that your body uses to cool itself off, how do you replenish that?
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, you do it by prana.
Oh, okay. The sun replenishes.
The sunlight is giving you all you need. The sunlight and breathing.
Yeah. Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Prana. When you're not sure, prana.
When all else is in doubt, let's just bring it all back to prana. Okay,
That's
so
it.
if you are Hindu and you believe in prana, don't hate us. Write to us and tell us how you believe that prana will replenish water, if that is a belief of yours. If it's not, then you can write us and tell us that this is a stupid belief, and we'll listen to you say that too.
For sure. Yeah, leave us a voicemail and we'll talk about it. We'd love that. Well, this next guy, we're going to kind of focus on him for the rest of the podcast, because he's kind of taken it a step further than these other guys. His name is Wiley Brooks. And it's weird that you say that's incredible, because when I was doing some research on here, this guy was on That's Incredible as well.
Serious?
Serious.
How about that?
I know. Yeah. So he was on there, but he founded the Breatharian Institute.
Okay.
And I should have got the date. I don't have the date that he started it, but I think it was 2013, maybe a little bit before. Don't quote me, but it's been going for a while. Brooks, he's recently stopped teaching to devote 100% of his time on solving the problem, and this is a problem, as to why he needs to eat food. So is why he needs to eat some type of food and allow his light body to manifest.
His light body. Now, is this light as in he doesn't weigh much because he doesn't eat? Or is this light as in he is one with the sun
I
and he
think
is
it's
a
more
light body?
So we're going to get into something else here in a little bit that relates to what I think he means by the light body. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll come back to that.
I'm listening.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. So there's such a thing called 5D foods. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not. Is this
5D foods.
5D
Okay.
foods?
Yeah. So basically the definition of a 5D food is these are foods they're usually raw fruits, vegetables, uh, typically organic, that raise your vibrational frequency. So we'll put a link in the show notes on our website that actually takes some kind of pictures of different types of fruits. And again, the pictures could be altered, but it shows the difference between a regular fruit and like an organic raw fruit. And it looks like there's more energy coming out of that fruit. So
Okay.
anyway, that's what a 5D fruit is, or a 5D food.
So that sounds reasonable so far, right? I
That
mean,
part does sound reasonable.
not laden with chemicals and
Right.
unprocessed and natural and okay.
Right.
So,
So Wiley Brooks, founder of the Breatharian Institute, claimed that Diet Coke and McDonald's have special 5D properties and encourages his followers to eat those foods and meditate on a set of magical 5D words. Okay.
Do we know what these
Yes.
5D words are?
Yes, we do. Okay. So
Okay.
let's go through those real quick and then we'll come back. Now, this is right off this guy's website. Okay. I'm going to read the words verbatim, and this is the fifth dimension words process. Okay. Which includes McDonald's, and Diet Coke.
Diet Coke, because those are a bastion of health right there.
It is, seriously.
Okay.
All right. So you have to say there's 5 words and you have to say them in order. You can't be out of order. And more than likely, I'm going to butcher these really bad, so you're going to have to bear with me. Jot Naranjan, Omkar, Rarankar, Sohang, Satnam. So you start meditating with these magic words for at least 30 minutes a day to begin with. And then you increase your meditating time to 2 hours a day, but you want to get there like as fast as possible. But you have to repeat them like in the exact order that I just told you. Here's something.
What happens when you do that?
Well, here's before we get to the results. Here's something you have to do, or it's not going to work. You have to do this. You have to have some Diet Coke in your bloodstream before starting the meditation exercise. Okay.
Okay.
Before you even start, you got to down a Diet Coke. Now, you can drink as much as you desire in the 1 liter size. Make sure you have lots of ice. And at McDonald's, you can drink it there in the plastic bottles only.
Not out of a cup.
Nope. Plastic bottles only. The second part of this is the double quarter pounder with cheese.
You're shitting me. You are making this up.
No way. I swear to God. Look on the website. I'm going to post the website up so you can look at it. The double quarter pounder with cheese meal at McDonald's is the other part of this diet. Okay.
Okay.
Try to eat at least 1 meal a day for at least 1 month to get started. So apparently you're eating a double quarter pounder and Diet Coke once a day for a month.
Okay.
Then he says, go back to his website periodically to see if you can start to feel the magic love.
The magic love.
Yeah.
Does this guy have like a corporate sponsorship from McDonald's? I mean, do we need? We probably shouldn't even ask that because that's doubting.
It could be, but here in a little bit we're going to talk about how he makes his money.
Oh, okay.
So
No, please go on then.
here we go. Now, it's okay to drink from the cups though while eating McDonald's, even though he just said drink it out of a plastic bottle only. But this guy highly recommends that you eat at McDonald's whenever possible. All McDonald's are constructed on properties that are protected by the fifth dimension high energy spiritual portals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I always wondered why I felt special when I went there, but now I know.
I know. I used to think it was just diarrhea from me eating there, but
I thought their little pumpkin pies around Christmas were good, but
you were having a
okay.
spiritual experience.
I guess I was. I didn't even know it.
So, as you continue to use this meditation program, you'll start to feel the difference in the atmosphere when eating inside of a McDonald's and outside of the McDonald's.
So let me back up here and let me understand where we are so far. Okay, so the founder of the Breatharian Institute, who wants us to do nothing but survive on air and sunlight, says that we shouldn't survive on air and sunlight, but instead we should drink Diet Coke and eat double quarter pounders because 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 because, because what? What is I don't understand this part. How does this work?
All right. Well, hold on. We have some people that listen to us in Europe, so there's instructions for people in Europe too.
Oh,
So let's
okay.
go through that real quick.
The McDonald's in Europe are built on the same holy ground?
They are,
Or
but
is
you
it
have to
just
alter.
American McDonald's?
You have to alter your food a little bit in Europe.
Hmm.
It's not the same.
Okay.
So you have to substitute the hamburger royal with cheese for the double quarter pounder, and Coca-Cola Light for the Diet Coke.
I've had Coca-Cola Light before.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's better than Diet Coke.
Shoot, you're already halfway there to this stuff. Good for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's acceptable to combine 2 quarter pounders with cheese to make 1 double quarter pounder if you can't get the double quarter pounder with cheese where you live. So you can substitute. Okay.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah. While you're doing this, and I believe this is for 30 days, don't drink water of any kind from any source. And most importantly, do not eat any fruits or vegetables doing this. I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't ask me. Straight off his website. Okay.
Okay. I'm laughing with you, not at Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Especially if Bomb Jom is listening to me right now.
He could be.
I don't want him to think that we're laughing at him. We are not laughing at you, Bomb Jom.
No. Well,
okay.
All right. So he has this class or set of classes or whatever. It's called the Immortality Workshop. So there's a couple of requirements for this workshop. You just can't go in and sign up and, and start to be with prana or whatever. So you have to be able to travel to the 4 corners of the Americas. So you can't be strapped down somewhere. Okay.
The 4 corners of the Americas? Is that like where Colorado and Utah and Arizona, New Mexico come together?
Could be. Because his church or his spiritual church or whatever is in New Mexico.
Oh.
So, but I actually think he was thinking like maybe America and South America. I don't know.
Okay. So you got to be able to travel.
Got to be able to travel.
Gotcha.
This one, well, maybe that's the only requirement. But if you go through this Immortality Workshop and you graduate, you will be the spiritual leader and a teacher of the new world. So you're automatically, high level ranking spiritual leader of the entire world. Plus, there's a bonus.
Impressive.
That's not all.
Oh, it's 1995.
1995. Just pay additional shipping and handling. This workshop includes a trip a free trip to Earth Prime in the 5th dimension in your physical body only if you are ready.
Earth Prime in the
Mm-hmm.
5th dimension.
Yep.
Okay, so the 5th dimension part tells me there's probably a McDonald's there.
Yes.
Where is Earth Prime? Or does that have something to do with Amazon?
That's right. It's probably free shipping to Earth Prime.
It's next day.
It's next day.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? I have no idea where Earth Prime is,
Oh man.
but you have to be
In
ready
your
to do it. I mean, they're not going to send you if you're not ready.
Okay.
And so this class, here's what they charge.
I'm ready. I got my checkbook
You
out.
ready? Because you need to learn
Yes.
how to do this. $100,000 will get you this class to teach you how to learn to live without food. That's just the
While
regular
you're
class.
eating.
That's not the Immortality workshop. That's just learning how to live without food. That's like your bachelor's degree in Breatharianism.
Okay, so
Would you want
I
your
guess
doctorate in
I would.
Breatharianism?
How would you just get the undergraduate in this? You got to go all the way.
True. If you're doing it, you might as well do it.
Okay, so $100,000 to learn to live without food, and I assume, like most of these, seminars that you go to, they probably that $100,000 covers a hotel and probably your food while you're there. So double quarter pounders and Diet Coke come with the 100,000.
That would be safe to assume that, yes.
Teaching us to learn how to live without food. But okay, once you've paid that, and then you move on to what?
Now you want to go, you're like, heck, now I can live without food, but I want to go to Earth Prime and I want to go to the 5th dimension. Why would I just stop here? Okay, well, now you have to do a down payment of $100,000. That's your down payment, and a total payment of $1 billion.
Oh, mini me. Yes.
Billion.
$1 billion.
For the Immortality workshop.
Has anybody taken him up on this yet?
I kind of doubt it. It said when they advertise it to billionaires, and it's for a limited time only.
I mean, Bezos, Earth Prime, Amazon Prime, 1 billion. He's got the billion. I mean, maybe there's some coincidence here. Maybe Bezos has done the workshop.
It's a good point.
Maybe that's where Earth Prime came
That
from.
could be.
Or Amazon Prime.
Right.
Actually, probably more likely, was named after Earth Prime. Because he's been there in the 5th dimension in his physical body.
Has anyone ever seen Bezos eat or drink anything?
Other than Diet Coke? I don't think so.
I think you've stumbled upon something here.
Don't.
Yeah. Okay. It's all making sense now.
Yeah. Okay. Conspiracy's coming together. All right.
But that's Wiley Brooks. So he kind of pushed the Breatharian thoughts farther along than the previous few did. There was one more guy. And this one actually looked kind of legit.
Okay.
This guy's name was Ray Moore, Maor. He was in a documentary produced by, this was Israeli television, where he appeared to survive.
I just saw Ivy.
Oh, nice. He survived without water or food for 8 days and nights. He was restricted. They put him in a small villa, and they put cameras all over, video surveillance, medical supervision. He did lose 17 pounds. But when they did blood tests, they couldn't find any significant change in his levels before, during, or after the experiment. So other than losing weight, he seemed to be fairly healthy still. with no water or food for 8 days and nights. So that was the best example I could find where it wasn't completely a joke, because some of the others I saw, they would do the tests, but then a few days later they would catch the guy on, going to a 7-Eleven and bringing out groceries and eating it. So that this was the only one that seemed fairly legit as it could be, I suppose. But that's Ray Moore.
So when I was looking this up for the research, I just, first place you go anymore, you want to find people with personal testimonials about anything, go to YouTube, right? And so I typed in Breatharian in YouTube and was surprised at how many videos popped up on it. There's a lot of people who claim to be Breatharians, and a couple of them that were, people who were trying to debunk it. Frankly, I didn't think the debunkers did a very good job of debunking it. They were kind of dumb. But in practice, the people who claim to be Breatharian don't seem to be quite as rigid or weird as some of the examples that we talked about tonight. It seems to be the way that it's practiced is it's kind of a yoga technique where they will start the day with half hour, an hour of this meditation and breathing, kind of like what this, the guy that run the Breatharian Institute was doing.
Yeah.
They start with a lot of the breathing, and they incorporate that into a lifestyle. And they say that, a lot of times when you're hungry, if you just do this breathing and you get out in the sunlight and you just get your mind involved elsewhere so that you're not thinking about the food, that you'll not be hungry. And, so if you talk to people who do fasting, they'll pretty much concur with that. If you take your mind off of the food, the worst part about fasting is, you got to think about it. You got to think, what am I doing? I don't have any food. I don't have any food. I'm so hungry.
Right.
So when you're like, yeah, I wish I had a double quarter pounder and a Diet Coke. But when you don't think about that, when instead you're engaged in some good conversation with a friend or something, one of the girls I was watching was like, I found that I wasn't thinking about food when I was having a really good conversation with a friend. We would just be talking about these deep things, and we would go hours and hours and hours, and we wouldn't eat. And then I stopped and thought about it afterwards. I was like, oh, I just did intermittent fasting. I didn't even try. And so that's kind of what she was saying, is that's how I started. And then later on, if I was just kind of like, it was not about the length of days, because if you start thinking about, I'm going to fast, I'm going to do it for a week. And so then you're focused in on the days, and then you become focused in on what you can't do. I can't eat.
Yeah.
I'm only on day 3. Damn it, I can't eat for 4 more days. And so your whole mind process goes to food. And just like anything, if you're trying to stop doing anything, you can't be sitting there thinking about what you're trying to stop doing. Got the sex addict is like, I can't look at porn. I can't look at, you can't.
Right.
You got to think of something else to do that takes your mind off of what you're wanting to not do.
Yeah.
And so what the practical people seem to be saying is, that's what we do. We don't completely try to subsist off of air and that sunshine, but they take a focus off of food and put it onto living life, and they practice regular fasting and intermittent fasting as part of the lifestyle. And the ones that do eat try to keep what they're eating, quite honestly, away from Big Macs and Diet Coke, and I'm sorry, double quarter pounders or
Get it right.
cheeseburger royales. My bad. But they're vegan, or eat a lot of smoothies, a lot of organic food, raw broth, rarely foods that need to be chewed, or or cooked, um, and that's kind of what they focus in on. So seems to me that the ones that I've seen that practice this in a serious manner tend to view it as a progression from mainstream life. And it's admittedly we eat like crap, especially here in America.
Right.
People that are listening wherever else that we have the listeners. Maybe you don't eat like crap over where you are, but we do, and it's just a habit. You just sit down, you got a bag of peanuts or something. You just are constantly eating is garbage. So the people that are doing this are saying, look, I'm trying to use this as a progression away from that mainstream life and unhealthy eating to a lifestyle that doesn't look at food as a focus of a social event. Like how many times we do that whenever having a social event, there's almost always food there, right?
Hmm.
Either tell people bring their own food or you're going to provide it. So it's there, and it's like the center, that like the hub of what brings people together. When they do the Super Bowl commercials, they're all um, nachos and Taco Bell and whatever the crap that they have in
Yeah.
there, and so this is saying focus more on the relationships, focus more on the people, focus more on the events that you're doing, and eat to survive, but don't survive to eat.
Yes. I've heard
And
well, even that intermittent fasting is good for you.
yeah, yeah, there's lots of documented benefits of intermittent fasting and actual regular fasting. Lots of super healthy people that I know do that on a regular basis. It's borne out with the testings that they do, the medical testings, looking at people's levels of the blood levels and things like that. So I mean, to me, if you're the people who are doing this kind of lifestyle in practice, it seems like a pretty reasonable thing. Of course, there's your dude that wants to call Diet Coke a 5D food and charge $1 billion to get to Earth Prime. So
Right.
I think,
Right.
I think maybe I probably wouldn't listen to that guy. I mean, you know, Bomb Jom though, he's legit.
Bomb Jom. He's the bomb.
Or Bomb Jom's mom.
Right. Well, listen, if you guys have things you want to talk about with this, comments, suggestions, please send it in. There's, it's quite interesting. Once you delve into this, there's a lot more to it than just people thinking you can live on sunlight and air. So quite entertaining, actually.
Yeah, and so again, some of the stuff is it's just good common sense, or maybe not common sense, but stuff like getting out in the sun. It's just good for you. I mean, it's good for you in so many different ways to do that.
Hmm.
I don't think you can take it and say that you can only do that, but to avoid it like we do here in America, good Lord, we're all vitamin D deficient. I mean, nobody gets out in the sunlight anymore, even for a few minutes. You're in temperature controlled buildings and sitting under fluorescent lights, and it's just yeah, it's terrible for you. But so some of these things I think are good things to do. We just all things in moderation, right? You don't want to take it too far.
Yep. I agree. I agree. Well, we're gonna go over one more subject and then wrap it up.
Yes. So I have been so very interested in this for a very long time. We have done the remote viewing. Each one of us has taken a turn at remote viewing to see if it could actually be done. And I think, I think with varying degrees of success, we have shown ourselves anyway that there's something to it, that it's not just hype. Um, we didn't get it completely, but we stumbled across some things that I think show that there's at least a psychic connection out there. So I wanted to try that with Brian. He's the only one who has not actually taken a turn until tonight at remote viewing, and so I put some things in an envelope, and uh, different than the other ones where we actually had pictures of things in an envelope. I actually put actual items in the envelope, but I didn't tell him that.
Hmm. No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
I did. No, I did not. There were actual items in here, and I didn't want there to be any confusion, like there might have been with the artistic abilities of Matt.
We can make fun of him because he's not here. So,
He's not here to defend
right.
himself, so I could say that when I saw those pictures, I was like, "That's why I didn't get
His
anything."
fish llama or whatever. uh,
so so I put some things in an envelope, and while we have talked a little bit about it off of the air, we have not talked. You don't know what these items are, right?
right.
Correct.
Correct.
Other than what you have just kind of guessed,
Hmm.
and so I put 3 items in an envelope, and again, I didn't tell you that they were items because I didn't want you to even have the clue of how big that they would be. So I put them in the envelope, and you tell me now what you saw, and I will tell you if I think that that is accurate at all.
Okay. So I tried to stick to the process that we talked about earlier in an earlier podcast, where I got a sheet of paper, I wrote the date down, and then I started writing down whatever I was like brainstorming, whatever I felt the universe was telling me, I would write it down. Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
hopefully, some of these words that I wrote down uh, mean something that were in the envelopes. So we'll go through we'll go through and just see how it comes out.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to take some notes here while you're talking.
all
So
right.
go ahead.
So the first few words that came to uh, my mind was a box, a cube, and the image that came to my mind was more of like a 3D type box, purplish in color, kind of little sparkles on it, but some kind of box that was purplish, glitterish, something like that. That's the first thing that's the first set of words and images that came to my mind. You want me to just keep going through all of them and then you can tell me?
And okay, was that and that was the thing that you were focusing on there? That was like the other words that you're talking about would not apply to this, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. I'll go ahead and give me the other things, and I'll come back to
Okay.
that now.
Next, the first words or the first visions I was getting was kind of something white, cottony, like a cotton ball, round, puffy, uh, wispy. So kind of what I was thinking is, how a cotton ball looks, not when it's all scrunched up tight, but when it's kind of poofed out a little bit.
Hmm.
Uh, like a Stay Puff marshmallow guy made out of cotton balls, or maybe just a cotton ball, uh, but something that's roundish, really puffy, kind of like a cotton ball, white in color. The word hollow popped in too. Now that I didn't directly associate that with the cotton ball image, but hollow popped in at the very end of that viewing that I had.
Now you said something to me off of the air. Also, another word that you didn't say to me just now.
Oh, silver-ish,
Okay.
silver color, silver flashes, something silver there as well.
Okay. Okay.
I skipped that one, sorry. Then hollow came out and then teeth for some reason. And then I got a feeling of burlap, uh, something brown, something. Well, you kind of know how burlap is, right? Like a
Mm-hmm.
rough sack or whatever. And then I felt that it was like something sticky or something that has to do with glue. The color red popped up, and then bouncy and a pin just came out of nowhere. So, like I said, burlap, gluey, kind of sticky, red in color. That was a third thing that kind of the universe gave me.
Okay. So to anybody who is listening and who's listened to the other things, I kind of cheated a little bit on this one in that I actually tried to establish a psychic connection with Brian when he was doing this. So unlike the other ones where it was strictly remote viewing, where we were actually going into somebody else's house in our mind, I actually was actively thinking the objects to him. Now that's all I did, right? I didn't, you have no idea even right now what these items are, correct?
Correct. No clue.
Okay. Okay. So, but I did actually think those items to you, and so let me go back now and tell you what the items were and how absolutely very close you were
Hmm.
on some of these things. Okay. So the first thing you said box cube 3D type purplish and had like sparkles.
Yeah.
Okay. So I put an Our Different Take Experience the Podcast business card
Whoa.
into the envelope.
Huh.
Okay, so if you look at that card, it has a box, has several boxes in it, but in the lower left-hand corner, it has a QR box in it, which is essentially a 3D cube.
What the
The
heck?
card, the card is purple. It's blue and purple.
Yeah.
And in the background of the card, behind the face, is kind of a sparkly type. Um, what do you call that? It's like different colors, like sparkly colors behind
That's like the
the
TV
background.
screen. Like when you're looking at a TV screen, it's not.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Wow.
So as I was listening to you describe that, I was like, he's got it. He didn't know what it is, but he's got it. You found a lot of the objects that were on that business card,
What the heck?
huh?
Wow. That
All right. So
surprises me.
the next one, and I thought this one was really interesting too. Okay, you said white, cottony, round, puffy, wispy,
Mm-hmm.
hollow, silverish in teeth. Okay, so what it is? Okay, so you said white, cottony, round, puffy, wispy, hollow, silverish in teeth, and it was a hair scrunchie, a hair tie. You know those little things that girls wear to
Hmm.
pull their hair up in ponytails.
Yeah.
So let me describe it to you. It is white with black stripes around it. It is cottony. It is round, puffy, sorta. Wispy, I would say wispy though, yes. And
Yeah.
it is a hair tie. It's like a rubber band. It is hollow. And the clasp on it is silver,
What the crap?
right?
That's almost
So
alarming right there. That's freaking me out a little bit.
it kind of is. When you said silver off of the air, I'm like, whoa. And you're like white and cottony, and I'm like, damn, man, the round.
Jeez.
I mean, you didn't know what the item was, but you described it pretty damn well. It's I was just I
Wow.
don't know. I was kind of taken by that.
Yeah, no kidding. I am too. I might quit my job tomorrow and start remote viewing.
So the last item, I think probably maybe the least accurate, but there's some things in even in it that I think are interesting. So you said burlap, brown, sticky, red, bouncy, and pin. Okay. So what I what I was calling out to the universe and what I was thinking to you was probably different than what the item actually is.
Oh,
You ever seen
great.
a you ever seen a finger caught?
Caught in what?
A very funny.
Uh,
So you know what
oh,
a finger caught is?
I don't know if I know. What is a finger caught?
Okay, so if you are like a kitchen worker and you cut your finger,
Mm-hmm.
you put it in this little condom looking thing.
Oh, okay.
You roll this little condom thing out on your finger
Oh, I gotcha.
so that like, the blood doesn't get in the salad or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was calling it out to you as a midget condom.
I'm kind of glad. I'm really glad I didn't get this one, just for the record. I'm okay with not getting this.
Okay, so it is brown. You said sticky, so,
Oh my God.
what it is and what I was calling out to you maybe is where you got the sticky from, okay? Uh, bouncy, I
Oh,
mean, bouncy.
oh, for the
Yeah,
love.
kind of bouncy. Yeah, you could say that. And pen, okay, yeah, a finger pen, you could put it over, you could,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was not red, but if you were using it for its intended purpose, you'd probably have a red finger
Hmm.
because your finger would be damaged, bloody, whatever, it'd be cut.
Right.
So I'm gonna give that one a C, but I'd say you get a B plus on both of the other two. I mean, those were pretty damn close. Those
Wow.
first, yeah, those were interesting to me.
And really, what I tried to do, I really tried to leave my mind blank and just write down whatever came to my mind, like no matter how goofy it was.
Yeah.
And it apparently worked somewhat.
Yeah. I think you were really onto something, and I know I was kind of making fun of you guys off the air last time because I thought some of the things maybe was a bit of a stretch, and maybe I'm reading into this too, right? Maybe this is me trying to make this fit, but I don't think so. I mean, just in looking at how you responded here, because had you said I was holding up a specific item when I asked you to tell me the words that you said. Okay.
Yeah.
So had I been holding up the hair scrunchie and you start saying box, cube, 3D, purplish, sparkles, none of that would have fit.
Right.
It wouldn't have fit at all. But I wasn't. I was holding up the business card when I asked you to do that. And I was holding up the scrunchy thing when you started saying hollow, wispy, round, silverish, white. All of that stuff fit.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
yeah, I was like, wow, man, this is pretty impressive. So anyway,
Wow.
kind of
That's
fun
awesome.
stuff. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
we need to keep honing our skills and then see where it goes.
yeah. I mean, I almost kind of don't want to stop that. Like I know nobody's gonna want to keep on tuning in to listen to us do this, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Me too. Way more cool than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, I see. The other day when we were talking, you were just joking around. I think you're
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking you probably got a dildo in there, and I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute, man, how close are you, dude? So, I don't know if you're probably just jacking around when you said that, but
Well, you never know.
never know, never know, never
Never
know.
know. All right. Well, I guess that's it, unless you have anything else.
Oh no, I guess it's time for the outro, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening this week. We want to say welcome to our new listener in South Africa. Very, very cool. Thanks so much for listening. Send us an email as to where you are listening from so we can give you a shout out. Go to ourdifferenttake.com and our Facebook group is called ODT Nation. Send us an invite request and we'll be happy to add you. Please send your comments, suggestions, complaints, or questions to show@ourdifferenttake.com. You can also call our voicemail hotline to submit questions or comment or really say anything that you want. Just call 970-343-4594. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and look for us wherever you get your podcasts from. We also have a YouTube channel called Our Different Take. Please subscribe, click on the bell so that you will be alerted when a new podcast is released. If there is a certain subject you would like us to talk about, please let us know. We always love to hear from you.
Sure do. All right. Peace.
Peace out. Thank you.